Well, hello, everybody out there joining with us on the internet. We are going to go ahead and get started. It is 10 o'clock on the dot here at the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. I'd like to welcome you to our 2020 State of the Authority address. Good morning. I'm David Caughton. I'm the Communications Director for the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. And I sincerely hope you and your families are doing well and staying healthy during this difficult time. On behalf of the executive leadership team here at the JTA and our entire family, welcome. We are very happy to have you with us this morning. Now, if we were conducting this event in person, now would be the time for me to show you where the exits were, but obviously you're on your computer, so we don't have any exits to show you. Even though this is virtual, safety is a big part of what we do here at the JTA, so I do want to go over our safety message for the month of June. That message is, yes, safety is my business. Now, with so much happening at the JTA and in our community, we felt that we should continue this annual tradition of giving a state of authority, even though we couldn't do it in person. This is our opportunity to showcase all of the great work our team has accomplished over the past 12 months. Now, the best way for you to join us this morning is through desktop or laptop and with a strong internet connection. Your microphones should be muted at all times and your sound turned up during today's presentations. Of course, we'll do our part to minimize any technical difficulties we may have. Please bear with us. This morning, you will hear from the chairman of the JTA Board of Directors, Mr. Kevin Holzendorf, and our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Nathaniel Ford, on the year that was and what's to come at the JTA in the near future. Now, we do have a few video elements to share within the presentations, and like this broadcast, that'll be available for you if you choose to rewatch after the event. Now, with some of that housekeeping out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our program. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome the chairman of the JTA Board of Directors to say a few words this morning. Welcome to Mr. Kevin Holzendorf. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you, David, for that introduction. On behalf of my colleagues on the JTA board, I'm very excited to share all of the wonderful progress we've made at the JTA with our audience today. I'm looking forward to hearing Mr. Ford's presentation and some of the great videos we'll have for you this morning. Serving as chairman of the board has been an honor, and I can say with all honesty, even during these challenging times, there's never been a better time to be in this position. I have the distinct pleasure of working with a distinguished and talented board of directors and an executive leadership team that rivals any across the country. To my fellow board members, thank you for being dedicated, for asking thoughtful questions, and for leveraging your wisdom and experience to help guide this agency forward. At the board level, we take a strategic and long-term view of the JTA's operations, and hopefully that vision has empowered the authority's employees to be bold in their decision-making and planning. Mr. Ford, your team and the nearly 800 employees at the JTA continue to inspire me. You innovate and prioritize projects and services that make this community better today and in the years ahead. The results are everywhere, from the new First Coast flyer routes to the new sidewalks and road improvement projects we've completed over the past year. I am impressed with how many projects this agency juggles and completes each year. I hear it from my friends, co-workers, and neighbors, and I see it firsthand every day. As a board, we are also members of this community, and as such, I have watched and listened to the very difficult but very necessary conversation happening in our community and in cities across the nation. We are experiencing a historic moment in our society. I commend those of you who voice your opinions and peacefully exercise your First Amendment rights to stand up for injustice and tolerance. When I look at the JTA and the team Mr. Ford has assembled and empowered, I take great pride in knowing it is as diverse as the community we serve. I see that diversity in the senior and mid-level leadership at the JTA and all the way down to the employees who keep this authority running. I hope during the next few months and years ahead, we can turn talk into policy and action. I hope that we can come together, not just for our sake, but for the sake of the next generation, so that they can live in a more equal society. Finally, I hope we can all love and accept the differences that make us all unique, while still seeing the similarities that make us uniquely American. I'd like to take a moment of silence to pray for our community, our leaders, our citizens, our police officers, and first responders. Thank you again for joining us. David, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for those sentiments and, of course, for reflecting on the current moment that we're experiencing in our country. It's something we are certainly paying attention to here at the JTA. Today's event is primarily focused on all of the things that have happened over the past year at the JTA. And before I introduce Mr. Ford, we'd like to give you a little bit of a visual highlight of that and what has really been quite a busy year. So let's cue that video up.
In its nearly 50 years of providing transit service to Jacksonville residents, the JTA had only raised its bus fare 4 times. Then in 2012, while other transit agencies in Florida were charging upwards of $2 a ride, the JTA instituted what was its most recent fare for the past 7 years, $1.50 a ride. At the time, it was one of the lowest fixed route transit fares in the Southeast. It still is. Then last year, the authority implemented a 25-cent increase to $1.75 for a single trip cash fare. All other fare passes also saw increases, but JTA offers a discount to those customers paying by the free MyJTA mobile app. After more than 26 years at the Rosa Parks Transit Station, JTA bus operations have a brand new home, the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center at La Villa.
All right. Well, as you can see from that video, it has been a very busy year here at the JTA, of course, culminating with the grand opening of the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center at La Villa. We are so happy to be here in our new home. Now, to introduce today's main speaker, Nathaniel Ford joined the JTA as the CEO in 2012. And under his leadership, the JTA has become a mobility-focused organization, opening this brand new regional transportation center, launching new services, and continuing to make progress on other initiatives to make our community a better place. It is my pleasure to welcome this morning the JTA CEO, Mr. Nathaniel Ford. Good morning, Mr. Ford.
Hey, good morning, David, and thank you for that introduction, and welcome everyone to our first virtual State of the Authority presentation. Although we're all dealing with different circumstances right now, we felt it was very important to continue with our annual tradition, even if it means doing it online. I'd like to thank our Chairman Hosendorf for his remarks and for your leadership at the JTA and in our community. I thank you for taking a moment to reflect on the current hardships we are facing as a nation and as a city. I firmly believe we will get through this time of uncertainty stronger and as a more compassionate and caring community. I would also like to thank our city leaders, our citizens and first responders for showing the nation and the world that differing circumstances and points of view can coexist in peace and unity. May we continue with that during the upcoming weeks and months. As we get started, I would like to recognize our entire JTA board. For some of you, this is your first State of the Authority, but your leadership, passion, and commitment to making our city a better place is felt through all of our initiatives, past, present, and future. In addition to our chairman, please welcome Vice Chair Ari Jolly, Director Ray Driver, who is our board treasurer, Director Debbie Buckland, our board secretary, Director Isaiah Rumlin, our immediate past chair, and Director Nicole Paget. And representing FDOT District 2 Secretary Greg Evans' office, Larry Parks. Thank you, Mr. Parks, for serving with us. I'd also like to thank our elected officials who are in attendance today, including Council Member Sam Newby, and a special thank you for you serving as our liaison to the JTA and for your continued support. And congratulations on being voted City Council Vice President-elect by your peers. Also from the Jacksonville City Council, I believe we have in attendance today Council Members Michael Boylan, Joyce Morgan, and Jacoby Pittman. And I also would like to recognize our state representatives and those representing our community in Congress. Now, this is the first time we've held a virtual State of the Authority address, but like many of you watching, this is one of many online meetings and events we have attended over the past several months. During that time, we have forged ahead with our duties and responsibilities of getting people to and from their destinations safely and with caution to the public crisis gripping our nation. Our team of dedicated public servants are just as passionate about serving this community as they were before the pandemic. Now, much has changed since this last State of the Authority address, especially as we entered into 2020. I think the video you just watched makes that clear, but I'll have more to discuss through this presentation. Before I continue, I need to recognize the nearly 800 JTA employees who keep our city moving through these uncertain and changing circumstances. I have never been more proud to lead this thoughtful and innovative group of people as I am today. Our frontline employees have not flinched once since we began to face this challenge, and your bravery is inspiring. You are the backbone of this community and the reason we are able to maintain a safe and reliable transportation network. To that end, Our administrative employees have also done a tremendous job behind the scenes, managing the day-to-day responsibilities of the JTA. Now, these are not easy tasks, and especially during a public health emergency when you've had to stay away from your offices and your colleagues. I'll have more on how we have responded to COVID-19 later in this presentation, but I wanted to make sure I recognize all of you first. Now, let's look at our financial outlook. The JTA finished 2019 in strong financial position, and we continue to be great stewards of taxpayer funds and continue to invest in areas that enhance the quality of life for everyone. Standard & Poor's once again maintained the JTA's AA bond rating, a strong sign of confidence in the team we have here at the JTA. And for the fourth year in a row, the JTA received a clean audit report in 2019. Revenues were once again above budget, $1.2 million for fiscal year 2019, and this was primarily due to the favorable interest income on our investments and by identifying new streams of revenue. On the expense side of our budget, the JTA finished FY19 $3.2 million under budget, and that's in spite of responding to Hurricane Dorian and making major investments in safety and security. We are able to maintain this posture because of effective budgeting and because each of our individual departments work well within their means. This strong financial position has proven to be even more critical as we moved into an uncertain 2020 and beyond. Our search for diverse revenue streams and opportunities to cut costs while still maintaining a robust transit network and our relentless pursuit of discretionary grants has become a strength at the JTA. Now, over the past 7 years, we have expanded and maintained our transportation network without raising our fares. This past year, we set out to make the first fare modification to JTA services since 2013. After dozens of public meetings, engaging with our stakeholders, and following a detailed analysis by our staff and the JTA board, that fare modification was successful. Starting in October, our base fare went up a quarter. Fares for our other services saw a slight increase too. Fares for our seniors and paratransit customers did not change, but the discounts we offered did. Throughout the MyJTA app, customers can now obtain exclusive discounts as an incentive to use this app to buy passes. And through this fare modification, college students now receive 50% off their rides. We appreciate the honest feedback from our customers and the support of our board of directors in moving this initiative forward. But fares are just one part of our overall funding structure. Increasingly, the JTA has had to look outside of Jacksonville to help enhance our mobility. I'm proud to say that over the past 5 years, the JTA has secured more than $200 million in discretionary grant funding. In FY19, we secured $6.3 million to continue making upgrades to the St. Johns River Ferry, $16.6 million to build out the next First Coast Flyer route, the Orange Line, $2 million in grants to study transit-oriented development projects. And along with our partners at the city, we secured $17 million to improve rail traffic near downtown. Our partners at the Federal Transit Administration and the Florida DOT continue to have confidence in the JTA. They invest because we complete our projects on time and in many cases early and under budget. 2020 will be no different. These grants help us maintain our fleet and facilities and launch new services so we can improve connectivity for everyone in Duval County and our surrounding areas. In FY 2019, we provided more than 11 million trips. A majority of that, 9.8 million of those trips, comes from our fixed route bus routes and our First Coast Flyer BRT routes. The demand for connection and the new Connection Plus paratransit services have exceeded our expectations with more than 400,000 combined trips in 2019. The Skyway also continued to be a popular service for downtown residents, workers, and visitors with nearly 800,000 trips last year. Another popular service is the St. Johns River Ferry, which connects historic Mayport Village to Fort George Island. Thanks to the FTA's Passenger Ferry Grant Program, we have completed nearly $25 million in upgrades to the ferry. More than 423,000 customers chose to use the St. Johns River Ferry in 2019 to cut down on their commute times and a record number of ridership once again. Later this year, with the help of another passenger ferry grant from the FTA, we will begin the next phase of upgrades. So I want to thank the Friends of the Ferry for your continued support in Mayport, and to our partners at HMS, which operates the system, rain or shine. We look forward to celebrating the 70th anniversary of the St. Johns River Ferry later this fall. In 2019, more than 150,000 customers used one of our new alternative services like Beachside Buggy or Ready Ride. The growth we've seen with these on-demand solutions tell us that we are headed in the right direction, and that a 40-foot bus isn't going to work for everyone or everywhere. Ready Ride, our on-demand service, has grown from 5 to 11 neighborhood zones. With curb-to-curb pickup and same-day reservations, Ready Ride is giving our customers the flexibility they demand. Through Ready Ride, we've also began a truly inspiring new initiative with the City of Jacksonville called Door to Store. With our partners at the city, Door to Store provides complimentary rides to area grocery stores in North Jacksonville. Also, with same-day reservations available, we are helping hundreds of families access fresh foods in an area of town where food deserts have made that option more difficult. I'd like to thank the Jacksonville City Council and our Mayor Lenny Curry and his team for helping create this new opportunity. It is that giving spirit that is permeating throughout our organization, and something our employees take great pride in. During the year, our employees spend time giving back to causes that they love through JTA Cares. Those efforts were even more important as the most vulnerable members of our community began to face the challenges from the coronavirus. This spring, we joined forces with the city and FarmShare to distribute 66,000 pounds of food to nearly 2,000 needy families. Moving forward, the JTA Cares team will continue to support those less fortunate than ourselves. Through our partnership with Sulzbacher, JTA Cares opened 2 career closets to help men and women get back on their feet. So thanks to those donations from the JTA employees, these people can now dress appropriately for a job interview or prepare for that first day of work. We know that when someone has access to something as simple as a nice shirt and a tie, they will have a much better chance of finding and keeping gainful employment. The JTA Cares team also adopted their first school, the St. Clair Evans Academy. This is near and dear to our hearts because it includes stocking another closet with clothes and supplies for the students. This school is along one of our busiest routes, meaning that these initiatives are helping the families who depend on the JTA for transportation the most. The partnership celebrates students and teachers and their success and helps introduce them to STEM concepts and encourages them that the JTA be a better corporate citizen. Recently, these students got to tour JTA's maintenance and operations shops and took test rides on our autonomous vehicles. We believe by exposing these children to careers, we hope to expose them and give them, foster a spark and a possible future career path. We've also enlisted our automation division to introduce robotics and other STEM-related opportunities to ignite their curiosity. During the holidays, JTA staff handed out hundreds of meals to families in need. We sent care packages to military members and college students and assisted our homeless population. And finally, we offered complimentary rides to healthcare professionals fighting on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's our small way of saying thank you. In 2019, we took a hard look in the mirror when it came to safety and the security of our customers and employees. The JTA board continued to invest in new technology with new proactive safety measures and updated policies to ensure our services are as safe as possible. Last fall, we completed a $600,000 project to install protective barriers on all JTA buses for our operators, the first large transportation authority in the state to do so. These shields protect the blind side of our bus operators from any potential attack, while still giving them the freedom to interact with customers. The foresight of installing these shields have placed our frontline operators in a much safer position during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are now seeing other agencies across the country try to procure these same tools as well. These upgrades complement other technologies that help us monitor and maintain a safe environment at stations and on board our buses. Our engagement division is investing in continuing education through JTA University. These training tools help us identify bad driving habits, and so our operators can learn and correct those issues through coaching and support from their leadership teams. The biggest investment in safety can be seen inside and outside the new Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center at La Villa, a mobility hub for the 21st century and beyond. And more on that in just a bit. We prioritize these investments because we believe that everyone should have a safe ride and a safe work environment. Our pursuit of excellence in this area will never stop, and that is my continued commitment. In 2019, the JTA took big steps in becoming a truly regional mobility integrator with the start of new services in Clay and Nassau counties. We took over critical transportation disadvantaged services for Clay County in 2019, ensuring that thousands of people could continue to move freely no matter their limitations. Later in 2019, we took that commitment a step further and created Clay Community Transportation, which now has 3 flex routes. The red and blue lines connect customers in Greater Orange Park, and the magenta line helps people get from Keystone Heights to Gainesville. I would like to recognize and thank the leadership in Clay County for their partnership and for having confidence in the JTA to handle these services for their citizens. To the north of Jacksonville, the JTA is helping downtown commuters get to work with our Nassau Express Select service. This premium commuter shuttle is unlike anything the JTA has ever offered, with executive seating, complimentary Wi-Fi, and a smooth ride from Yulee to downtown Jacksonville. Again, thank you to our partners in Nassau County for your support. Due to COVID-19, however, we paused the Nassau Express Select service when stay-at-home orders took effect in March. I am happy to report that on July 6th, that service will be back, but it won't be alone. It will return with 2 new services because we are expanding the service to both St. Johns and Baker counties. So starting on July 6th, residents can catch the St. Johns Express Select from the St. Augustine Government Complex to downtown Jacksonville with a stop in the growing Durban area. For our Baker County residents, this new service will help you commute from the Baldwin Park and Ride to downtown Jacksonville each weekday morning and afternoon. Like so many of our new services, they will all converge at the heart of La Villa, at the Jacksonville's new state-of-the-art mobility hub, the JRTC. There is really no greater example of our commitment to innovation compared to the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center at La Villa, what we affectionately call the JRTC. This transformative new facility connects our customers to their fixed bus routes, the First Coast Flyer Bus Rapid Transit Network, the Skyway, and other services in one centralized mobility hub. Of course, your security and safety are also central to our work at the JRTC, along with great customer service from our team of transportation professionals. Our new pedestrian bridge provides a safe transfer to the inner city bus terminal where you can catch your Greyhound bus, Megabus, or the Red Coach line. That shared connectivity makes traveling to regional cities like Atlanta and Orlando much easier than before. This campus is a bold accomplishment and an economic catalyst for La Villa and downtown Jacksonville. As we grow into our new home, our services will grow too, whether that's autonomous vehicles, bike share, or other microtransit services like electric scooters. I'd like to thank Councilmember Leanna Cumber, who passed legislation this past year for a scooter pilot program. When we entered 2020, our teams were working on a celebration to mark the grand opening of the JRTC at the end of March. But obviously those plans had to change quickly, and I believe for the best. When I joined the JTA in 2012, I made a commitment that we would always place the safety, health, and well-being of our customers and employees at the top of our priorities. So it was with those concerns in mind that we made the difficult decision to postpone our grand opening. Instead, we focused on preparing the JRTC to operate with extra precautions in place. Social distancing, enhanced cleaning, and upgraded security features are all part of our operations at the JRTC and something that will continue long after the effects of this terrible virus are gone. I'm happy to join you today from my office at the JRTC and to report that we have opened to customers on May 4th. So for nearly 3 months, our administrative employees conducted their duties through teleworking, and I'm happy that many of them have returned to their new offices. However, as a precaution, they are split into 2 teams and rotate their days between the office and at home. To further reflect on our response to COVID-19 and how we are helping our community move through a public health emergency, we've prepared a short video to recap those efforts. So please, let's take a look.
COVID-19, coronavirus, words new to our lexicon, words that have changed our lives perhaps forever. The COVID-19 pandemic has made us change the way we think about everything we do in our everyday lives, at home and here at work. This life-threatening virus has challenged our nation like it has rarely been challenged before. Here in Northeast Florida, our communities are strong, resilient, and have fought against this global attacker with all we have. At the JTA, we are doing our part to keep Jacksonville moving while doing everything we can to protect our customers and our employees. We established social distancing standards limiting the number of passengers on our buses and at our transit hubs. We designated seating to keep them safely apart. During the peak of the outbreak, JTA required all non-essential employees to work from home. We added buses to avoid overcrowding the busiest routes and took extra care to sanitize our vehicles each night and disinfect commonly touched areas throughout the day. As long as local, state, and federal authorities permitted, we were determined to continue providing our customers with transportation to get food, visit a doctor, or make other essential trips. And to this day, we continue to take whatever precautions are deemed necessary to keep a safe environment for everyone involved. Our extraordinary bus operators, supervisors, and utility workers remain on the front lines during this challenging time. We applaud and thank them for their dedication and perseverance. Our JTA Cares initiative sees this moment in time to not only say thank you to our frontline employees, but also help our community. Over a 7-week period, JTA purchased over 5,000 boxed meals from local restaurants who were struggling to keep their doors open during this crisis. The meals were a special thank you to our busy operations team for their continued heroic efforts. There are nearly 800 employees at the JTA, and everyone has contributed during this pandemic in some way, and Jacksonville and the JTA are better for it. We are JTA Strong.
So just to recap what you saw, the JTA continues to make decisions based on data and the feedback we receive from our customers and employees. We also could not face this challenge without the working partnerships we have with our unions. So thanks to the local ATU, the IAM, to AFSCME for meeting with our leadership team every day and fostering an atmosphere of collaboration on behalf of our employees. As we move forward and as our community collectively begins to return to work, the JTA will adjust its routes and schedules to meet demand while also balancing the safety of the greater public. On June 22nd, we added service to the early mornings and made some adjustments based on customer feedback and extensive research from our staff. I'd like to thank our customers. You've been very patient with us and been willing to work with us during this difficult situation. I'd like to switch gears now and talk about another important part of the work we do at the JTA, our mission to design, build, and complete major roadway improvement projects in Duval County. Simply put, construction and road building is part of the JTA's DNA. The JTA began as the Jacksonville Expressway Authority in 1955, and today, through the JTA Mobility Works program and other initiatives, we continue that legacy with enhanced roadway projects, safe routes to schools, and by creating corridors for all modes of transportation. As I mentioned earlier, the JRTC at La Villa is one of the most transformational construction projects we've ever taken on and is now the center for mobility in Jacksonville. We are also making Jacksonville's roadways better through our JTA Mobility Works program. Last year, we completed the Gervin Road project, adding capacity, new sidewalks, bike lanes, and proper curbing to this busy corridor. Recently, we held our first virtual ribbon cutting for Kernan Boulevard. This $23 million investment added new lanes, sidewalks, multi-use paths, and improvements for a growing community. Best of all, the work was completed 6 months ahead of schedule. We are also focused on improving mobility for families who deserve a path to their neighborhood schools. I'm so proud to report that over the last year, the JTA completed new safe routes to schools through the construction of sidewalks and multi-use paths for our students attending Atlantic Beach, Brentwood, and Livingstone elementary schools and Butler Middle School. We embrace this role and will continue to create safe spaces for pedestrians, cyclists, bus riders, as well as our passenger vehicles. When it comes to enhanced transportation, the First Coast Flyer continues to be a major asset for Jacksonville. Last year, we launched the First Coast Flyer Red Line. This is our longest BRT route and the first in Florida to connect to a coastal community. We also made improvements along the First Coast Flyer Blue Line. We opened our Avenues Walk, Park, and Ride near Southside Boulevard and Phillips Highway, and the University Transit Hub, which is near Bowden Road and Phillips Highway. So in early 2021, we are on schedule to complete our BRT network with the opening of the Orange Line, which will connect the JRTC to the Orange Park area. At the JTA, we value diversity in our workforce and inclusivity in terms of our facilities and services for our customers. We also believe that small businesses should have a level playing field. One initiative I'm very proud of is our mission to make all of our bus stops and stations ADA compliant. In October 2014, just 10% of JTA stops were properly accessible to our disabled community. Now, we have more than 63% of all JTA stops are ADA compliant. In 2019, we converted another 250 stops, and this year, we've already upgraded 180 stops on our way to another 250. We take great pride in helping small and emerging businesses get a piece of the pie. One of the best things we do at the JTA is to provide an opportunity for small and minority-owned businesses to work with us on projects. We desire to do business with companies that reflect the diversity of the community we serve. So through our Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE department, the JTA has created a pipeline for these firms so they can compete and participate in the many procurements we issue each and every year. We have an internal goal at the JTA of reserving at least 23% of our project funds for these DBE firms. And since 2017, we have greatly exceeded that goal. On average, between 31 to 33% of our procurements include small and minority-owned businesses. Now, this will continue to be a focus of the JTA. We know that these opportunities and projects create jobs, they boost the local economy, and they help our neighbors grow their businesses. In 2020 and beyond, we'll continue to make progress on these initiatives and others. So now we've prepared a short video on what's to come at the JTA in the future and how we plan to tackle some of the most innovative projects today. Let's take a look. So as you can see, we're not slowing down at all. In fact, we're speeding up. And that's because we see this moment as an opportunity to lead and to continue advancing projects and new services. We see this as an opportunity to nudge traditional ways of thinking away and to welcome new strategies for an evolving customer. That spirit remains as strong as ever in 2020. Through JTA Mobility Works, we are moving forward in the development of several exciting projects, including Alta Drive, Paramore Road, San Pablo Road, and McDuff Avenue. In 2021, we will complete the Collins Roads expansion, which is currently under construction in West Jacksonville. And work will soon begin on the University Roundabout located at the entrance of Jacksonville University. And I invite you to join us for the groundbreaking on that project on Tuesday, July 14th. Over the past few months, you've also seen our city shine like never before with the brand new LED lighting system on the Acosta Bridge. This energy efficient system brings a colorful and dynamic element back to our downtown. Now, we have teased you with this element over the past few weeks, but the lights will turn on permanently ahead of the July 4th weekend. And finally, I want to leave you with the incredible advancements for our automation division. We are pursuing the future of transportation in Northeast Florida through the ultimate urban circulator autonomous vehicle network. This was born out of a need to enhance and expand the current Skyway. Once completed, the ultimate urban circulator, or U2C, will connect downtown Jacksonville to the surrounding neighborhoods using smart technology and autonomous vehicles. Last year, U.S. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao delivered a $12.5 million build grant to the JTA on the steps of City Hall. And last Monday, we published our request for qualifications for phase 1 of the U2C, the Bay Street Innovation Corridor. So since our 2019 State of the Authority address, we've made great strides in socializing this technology and developing partnerships to expand our work. We held our first responder training session for law enforcement, fire, and rescue professionals in August. Today, through our U2C First Responder Council, these brave men and women are helping us develop a safe and equitable AV network right from the start. We've also enlisted the help of our disabled community through our own JTA committee and the Mayor's Disability Council to ensure autonomous vehicles are designed for every citizen in our community. And in February, we welcomed the entire world to Jacksonville for our U2C Industry Forum, showcasing the work that we've accomplished and what possibilities lie ahead with this project. Recently, we have leveraged this technology to help in our community's response to COVID-19. In March, we established a partner with Mayo Clinic, the world-renowned Mayo Clinic, to use autonomous vehicles to transport COVID-19 tests on the hospital's campus. This is the first deployment of AVs in Jacksonville without attendants on board, and the first to be used like this in the nation. Each week, we move hundreds of COVID-19 samples from Mayo's testing sites to their laboratories, providing another layer of separation for healthcare professionals. The partnership has garnered worldwide attention and shined a spotlight on our community. From that work, the JTA continues to engage with other partners, including Florida State College at Jacksonville. We are expanding our test and learn activities to their Cecil campus and developing educational initiatives to train the workforce of the future. Through this partnership, we will introduce an AV system or service on their campus in the near future. To learn more about our Ultimate Urban Circulator, please visit us at u2c.jtafla.com. So in closing today, I want to once again thank our employees, our board of directors, the local, state, and federal officials, our media partners, and you, the Jacksonville community, for your continued support. Even though circumstances have changed dramatically for everyone over the past few months, one thing has not. The JTA will always be here to help our community move with reliable, safe, and high-quality transportation services. It is our mission to improve mobility, boost our economy, and to enhance the quality of life for everyone in our city. So I want to thank you for listening and thank you for your continued support. And with that, David, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Ford, for those words and that presentation. Again, to our chairman of the board, Kevin Holzendorf, for your time this morning. We certainly appreciate it. I'd also like to thank our community, our elected officials, our customers, and of course, my colleagues here at the JTA for making this change with us and joining us here in the virtual hallways to conduct our State of the Authority. For the media members, you should have received a separate invite to join myself and Mr. Ford so we can assist with any follow-up questions you may have. We will launch that at 11 o'clock. We look forward to seeing you on the other side. From all of us here at the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, thank you for joining us this morning. Please stay safe. We'll see you soon. Thank you and goodbye.